Okay, so in the last video, I created the animations for the main characters. Now for this video, I'm going to do a quick Unreal setup for the basic character setup. So when you double click the Unreal Engine icon, this Unreal Project browser opens up. Here you go to the Games tab, and I want to make a third-person game. So um, Unreal has made it an easy option that has a bunch of things that makes it easier to do a third person game. You can do a blank one, do everything from scratch, but this has a bunch of features that makes things easier. So I'm going to first select the folder that I want. So I've made a Zombie Hunter folder, select that, and the name of the project is the same, Zombie Hunter. Oops. Okay, and I'll hit create. And as that's working, there's going to be a little splash image that pops up. There you go. And it has the percentage down at the bottom. But I'll pause this while it creates the game. Okay, so when the project is created, this is what you should see. You've got a test level, and you can play the test level with the UE skeleton, but we're not going to worry about that. When you create the project in your folder, um, this is the project folder that I created, Zombie Hunter. But once you create the project and specify the folder, it creates another folder for you, and I gave it the name Zombie Hunter, and within that folder it has all the project contents. So the content folder here is the one that I'm worried about. So in this content folder, there's 4 other folders, but right beside it, I'm going to create another folder called Clint, which is the character name. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to create 3 more folders called Model, Animations, and one last one called Blueprints. Okay, so first in the Models folder, I'm going to import the main model, which is in my Blender project. I have an FBX folder where I exported all the FBXs from Blender. So the main model I'm going to use is Clint Default Pose. And this window pops up, and I don't need to worry about any of these settings. I just press import. And that should just take a moment. And when everything's done importing, it'll say import done with this green check mark. As you can see, everything has a star. When it has a star, it means nothing's saved. So I need to press save all, and that brings up a window that has all the things that I just imported, or any changes that I made. It will list here. So I save selected. You have to do that frequently, otherwise that list is going to pile up. I also press this save icon, as well as here under file I go save all. So this is the main model that I'm using, or the main skeletal mesh, Clint Default Pose. So in the animations folder, I would import the animations, which are also FBX files. So this window pops up. Usually the window is smaller. I'll size it down. I'm not used to having it so big. Here you need to double check 2 things. Number 1, you need to make sure that the skeleton is pointing to the main model, which is the Clint Default Pose. I'm going to specify that. And I also need to double check and make sure that under animations, import animations is checked on, because that's the main thing that I'm trying to import here. So import, and that's going to take a moment. So we've got the idle so far. Usually, are you sure you want to override asset texture 2D? I just click apply to all and press yes. Just to make well, first of all, let's wait till this is done. So there's the run. Okay, import done. So if I scroll down, there should also be walk animation. And as you can see, there's stars everywhere. All these little stars in the corner. So I'm going to save all and save selected. Okay, so just to quickly show you, if I double click the idle animation, for example, I need to get the one that says animation sequence at the bottom here. There's other ones that says physics asset or skeletal mesh, but I want the one that says animation sequence. So select the Clint idle anim, double click. What that does, it opens up a window. So basically, what this is showing you is all the animations. As you can see in the bottom right asset browser, it's got 3 animations. That means these are the 3 animations that are associated with the main model, which is the Clint default pose. So this is the main skeleton, or the skeletal mesh. And I can literally, right now it's playing the idle animation. I can double click any one of these and it'll play them for me. So there's the run animation. And I can press the Alt button and use the mouse to spin around and see it from different angles. And double click the walk animation. And same thing. So that's just to show you what's been imported. It's the skeletal mesh and the 3 animations. So I'm going to close that for now. I'm going to go into my blueprints folder. And there's 3 things I need to create, 3 blueprints. So the first one is going to be, I can select any one of these, actor, pawn, or character, but I'm just going to select character because there's a whole bunch of functionalities included that makes it so much easier. So this one's going to be called Clint underscore BP, BP for blueprint. Another one that I'm going to create is under the animation tab, animation blueprint. And I need to specify the skeleton, which is Clint default pose. This is going to be called Clint underscore ANIMBP. So, like the first one, it's a blueprint, except this one specializes in animations. And I want to create one last thing called a blend space. Again, it prompts me to choose the main skeletal mesh, and I'm going to select the Clint default pose. And this one's going to be called Clint underscore, whoops, BSP, which is blend space. And the blend space is used for base animations. So the ANIMBP uses, or the ANIMBP deals with all the animations, including the BSP. So the BSP is going to be fed into the ANIMBP, but BSP just deals with the base animations. So I'm just going to quickly save that. Again, all the stars disappeared. Okay, so out of these 3, the first thing that I'm going to deal with is the BSP, which is the blend space. I'm going to dock it up here. So basically, there's 2 things on this left side that I need to deal with, which is the axis settings, horizontal axis and vertical axis. So I'm going to open those up, press the little arrows on the left side. Now horizontal axis is referring to this horizontal on this graph, and vertical axis is this. So horizontal axis is going to be used as, I'm going to name it speed forward. And vertical axis is going to be called speed side. So horizontal axis of this graph is the forward. So the middle is going to be 0. Anything forward is the forward movement of the character. Anything backwards is the backwards movement. Speed side, anything that's up is the left movement of the character, and anything that's down is the right movement. So forward is this way, so therefore you have to sort of turn your head to orient yourself to the character movement. So the value for minimum axis value I use is minus 1200 for minimum, 1200 for maximum, and grid division 6. So there's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can barely see it, but there's like these little grids. So 0 is in the middle, 400, 800, 1200, minus 400, minus 800, minus 1200. And same deal with speed side, minus 1200. And 1200 for the maximum. And 6 divisions. So again, 0 in the middle. And minus 12 is down here, so minus 400, minus 800, minus 12, which is the right side of the character. Left side of the character is this way, so it's 400, 800, 1200 in the positive. Okay, so I'm just going to save that. And, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up these other two blueprints. So I'm going to grab a bunch of things from another project that I have, a female warrior. If you're interested, I have, oops. I have another tutorial series in my YouTube channel. If you scroll down all my videos, there's a female warrior series. I'm going to be grabbing, I'll be copying and pasting stuff from that project because there's so many things, it's just not worth retyping everything out. I'll just copy and paste and I'll explain everything as I go. But basically, let's open these up real quick. That should be good enough. So in the Clint BP is the main blueprint. If you look on this left tab, it already has a mesh component. So all I have to do is under the mesh, I gotta select the main model, which is Clint Ice default pose. And as you can see, it's kind of big and is way up here. Oops. So all I need to do is first, this blue arrow indicates the forward of the character. So this red is X. So X is always forward, the forward vector of the character, which means I have to rotate the character 90 degrees so that he's facing that direction. And I'll go into a different view. Right now the grid is set to 10, so it's snapping to every 10 units. I'll go down to 1 so that it's more smooth. And I want it at the very bottom of this capsule. And I also want the scale on the character to be inside this capsule. So I'll just do it in here. And I'll make it a nice round number. I'll make it 0.6. What happens if it's 0.5? Too small? 0.58. Okay, 0.58 is good. I'm going to go back into perspective. As you can see, the capsule is a little bit too flat. I want it to be tighter, so in the capsule radius here, I'll just drag it down until it's a little bit more tight with its body. Okay, so in here I want to add one thing, which is a thing called a spring arm, which is the thing that a camera attaches to. So with the spring arm selected, I just need to add a camera. The camera is parented under the spring arm, so wherever the spring arm goes, the camera follows. So I'm going to bring the spring arm up to the chest level, which is usually a good spot for the location of the spring arm. So with that set up, as you can see, he's still a still model because he has no animation. It's not referencing any animation yet. So I'm going to go back to the, first I'll compile. I'll go back to the Clint Anim BP. And here I'm going to right click and I'm going to type in Clint ESP. So basically what this is this blend space that we created with the, oh, the one thing that I forgot is, basically what I forgot is I forgot to drag and drop these animations into this blend space. So in the dead center is idle because the value is 0. But just say the value is just say 400 in the forward. I'll put the walk right in the forward. And the run is going to be all the way to 1200. So if I press Control and move the mouse, and I slowly start moving to the right, you can see it blends between the idle and the walk, and it plays like this animation that's somewhere in between idle and walking. But if I go all the way to 400, which is right here, then it goes to a full walking. But as I go further to the right, to just say the 800 value, then it plays an animation that's a blend between walk and run. And if I go all the way to 1200, and it plays the run animation 100%. So I'm just going to put it back to the default, which is idle. And I'll just, oops. I'll just pause it for now because I don't need it. So this is the blend space, and in the NMBP, I am referencing the entire blend space. So what it's asking for is speed forward and speed side, which is these two values, the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. So these numbers, minus 1200 and 1200, these are just ranges of what the value can be, but it doesn't tell this blend space what the value actually is. It's actually waiting for an input, and the input is going to be added from this NMBP. So in order to do that, I need to create two variables. One's going to be called speed forward. By default it's set to Boolean, but I need it to be a float because I need a numerical value. And I'll create one more variable called speed side. So I'm going to drag and drop these. Click on get speed forward and get speed side. I want to plug these in. And I'm going to drag out of here, and I want to get a thing called a default slot. So I'm not going to explain what that is, but it's something that I need to put in. You can create a bunch of slots so that you can have your base animations, but if you want your, just say your arm doing something different, then you can make something else happen starting at a different slot within your skeletal mesh, within your skeleton. So if you want something different happening, just say in your shoulder, starting from your shoulder bone, then you can select that as a slot to play a different animation on top of one of the base animations. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's not important for now. You just have to make sure that this slot, default slot, is added in between. So I'm going to compile that, and I want to go back into ClintBP, and as you can see, we've got the model, we've got the spring arm, we've got the camera, but there's no animation. So we have to specify. We go to this drop down. There's three options. There's animation blueprint, animation asset, and use custom mode. We want blueprint because we're trying to reference this NMDP, and we just have to go find it. So we click on this drop down, and we go Clint NMDP. And oh, I know why. What's going on? What am I missing? If I compile this, maybe go save all. This is where the project comes in handy, so I can go see what I am missing. Oh, I think I know what it is. Okay, it's actually working now. The reason why it wasn't working before is because I created this node before I added these animations, but after I added these animations in the blend space, it didn't update in this anim graph. So I had to delete it, and I have to find it again. So Clint underscore ESP. So for some reason it doesn't update, so you have to like re-add it in order to get the updated animations. So compile, and everything, the animation login. So the next thing is in the anim graph. So I'm going to right click and create event begin play, which is at the moment that the game begins. I'm going to cast to Clint BP, and out of the object here I want to get try get pawn owner. So essentially, basically by doing this, I'm getting a reference to the Clint BP, the Clint blueprint. and I'm going to get that blueprint, and I'm going to pull out of here, and I'm going to promote to variable, and the name of the variable is going to be clintbp. So I'm taking that entire blueprint and I'm storing it as a variable. So to speed things up, I'm going to grab these nodes from the female warrior. I'm going to copy and paste. So because I've set clintbp node here, all I need to do now is drag and drop and get, because it's already being set, so I just need to get whatever the value is and plug all of it into this. So from this clintbp, what I'm doing is I'm extracting some information, the velocity, the forward vector, and the right vector. So if I get the velocity times, just say the forward vector, the dot product, then I can plug that right into the speed forward. And if I get the get velocity and times it by the right vector, I can plug that into the speed side. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And all these values is basically what sets the value into the Clint BSP and tells the BSP which animations to play on this graph. So I'm just going to compile that. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go to save all, save selected, and now I need to go to the Clint BP, and this is where everything else is taken care of, including their character controls. So that's what I'm going to deal with next. So usually for character controls, I like to create a separate graph. So this is like the main graph called the event graph, but you can add more graphs, as you can see here. It's got a little plus button. So I'll create one, and I want to call this graph basic inputs. And as you can see, the name's changed here. So this is the event graph that the blueprint comes with, and this is my new one. So I'm just going to go into Female Warrior blueprint, and I also have a basic input thing here. So the only thing I need, I'm just going to copy and paste this into here. Why is it not showing up? I'll try that once more. Control C, Control V. Oh, there we go. So I'm just going to go through this. I'll explain. So first I'll open up project settings and go into input. So in the bindings, there is actually no okay. That's weird. There's no action mappings or axis mappings. So for axis mappings, I have to create everything, I guess. forward. So we move right. Moves up again. I need two inputs. So the first one is going to be keyboard W, keyboard S. Move right is going to be keyboard A and keyboard D. So W is positive, so scale is 1. S is negative, so scale is -1. Move right, A is negative, so that scale is going to be -1. And D is positive, so scale is +1. The only action mapping that I need is run. So create one action mapping, name it run, and it's going to be right mouse button. So basically what's happening here, it's these red nodes on the right, all these have red nodes on the right, or I mean on the left. Whenever I'm pressing a forward, it could be W or S, so W is going to be +1 and S is going to be -1. So it's looking for, that plugs into the axis value. But the direction is the control rotation, which is the rotation of the character, which is driven by the rotation of the camera, I believe. Taking all that, I'm getting that rotation, I'm breaking it apart, and I'm only getting the Z, which is if I select the character, as you can see, Z is pointing up, which means Z rotation revolves around. So if this is the Z rotation. So that's what it's looking for, and whatever that is, that's the world direction that I want the character to be. Same with the right vector, which is plugged in here. So basically, it's looking for the input of the movement, and is trying. This node actually makes the character move in whatever direction. Run. Here, I'm just setting the walk speed. So if I just say I go to character movement, there's by default walk speed is 600. Yeah, it's 600. So if it's walking, here I'm setting it to, if the right mouse button is pressed, then it's going to go up to 1200. It's going to go faster. But if I let go, it's going to go to 400. So it's going to slow down. And this is referencing character movement. So all I have to do is drag and drop it. And this controls input axis lookup, input axis turn. I didn't add these. have that now. So 2 more axis mappings. So look up and turn. So lookup is going to be mouse Y. So if I move my mouse up and down, that's the camera's going to go. It's going to look up and down. If I for mouse turn, mouse X is turning the camera left and right. So those the mouse input. If I go up and down, that's going to affect the pitch of the camera. And if I go left and right, the turn, it's going to affect the left and right looking of the camera. Okay, so one last thing that I got to do before I try this out is there's certain settings I need to change. I need to go through these one by one. Mesh. Here. I think spring arm, there might have been something. Alright, so in spring arm, I'm just going to go back to my female warrior. Select spring arm. Right, okay. So I need to check use pawn control rotation. So what this means is the mouse movement is basically influencing the movement of the spring arm. And that's what control rotation is. Mouse rotation is control rotation. So I'm using the mouse rotation to determine the rotation of the spring arm. And I'm inheriting pitch, yaw, and roll. That stays the same. Is there anything in camera? I don't think so. Let's go back to spring arm for a second. I think there's one thing here under character movement. So basically, I'm going to check with character movement selected. I'm going to press right rotation to movement. Basically what that means is if I'm pressing forward, just say W to go forward, it's going to turn the character in the direction of that the camera is facing. So let's just say I spin the camera around to look at a different direction, and then I press W, and it's going to look forward. I'm orienting the rotation of the character to movement. So that's what that does. It basically forward is the direction of the camera, which is directly into the screen. If I press S, that's negative forward, so the character is going to be facing the computer screen. And the same thing with right and left. It's going to be in relation to wherever the camera is facing. So that's what that is. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to compile that. Okay, so I'm going to go here, save all. Okay, so if I go to world settings, if I drop down, it specifies the game mode, which is another thing that we can create. But within that game mode, the third person character is specified. So what that means is if I hit play, by default it's got this Unreal character set by default, but we don't want that. We're gonna drop down and choose our Clint BP, which is the main blueprint, which is this one right here. So if I hit play now, so if I walk, if I move the camera around, oh, I already know what I forgot. I'm going to go back into project settings and input. I want mouse Y to be -1, the scale to be -1, because as I drag the mouse down, the camera moves up. As I drag the mouse up, the camera moves down, which feels more natural. So again, I can spin the camera around, and as you can see, the character is... Oh, actually, this is not what I want. I don't want him to rotate as the camera is rotating. So I do not want right rotation to movement. I'm going to compile that. Right rotation to movements. Okay, I do want right rotation to movement. I think in spring arm, I don't want use quant controller rotation. That's what's making it rotate. So let me try that. Okay, so what I had before was correct. The character movement, you want, there we go. Your character movements. Yeah, you want orient rotation to movement to be checked, so it's rotating to whatever to wherever the camera is facing. Spring arm, you want it all four of these to be checked. You want use pawn control rotation as well as all the pitch yaw and roll. The only thing that I missed was at the very top, if you select very, the root, I guess, of this blueprint, I guess, you scroll all the way down under pawn. I think that has to be turned off, the yaw. There we go. So now if I turn the camera around, he doesn't like rotate with the camera rotation, but if I press forward, he turns around to the direction of the camera, so that's the W key. But if I press backwards, he goes directly the opposite direction in relation to the camera. If I turn the camera around again, just see I press forward, then he goes directly forward. If I go left, then he goes left. And if I hold down the right mouse button and I move in any direction, he runs. Okay, everything's good now. I just want to double check that. I think it must have been this one that was checked, so let me just see if that was it. Yeah, see as I turn the mouse, he rotates too. So we don't want that. We want this unchecked. So the root, you go all the way down to where it says pawn, and you make sure that this yaw is unchecked. Let's compile that. Yeah, and that's basically it. Okay, that's it for this video. That's all I wanted to do. That's the basic setup. Idle, walk, run, and the basic camera movements. This is almost the exact same as that I did for this female warrior video. It might seem a little bit redundant, but it never hurts to brush over everything once in a while, just so I remember where everything is. So hopefully that was helpful, and please stay tuned for more videos. Okay, thanks.